coming back to De Ligt, I think the only thing I'd miss about him is that the only thing I would probably miss about him is that there's still a lot of career left with him, and to see what he would have evolved to be as a defender at Juventus and in that setup and under Allegri's tactics.
Right.
But the time up until that point, I'm not. I don't think he was good. I don't think he was bad. There wasn't a wow factor for me with what he probably should have provided. With the hype that came along with him with coming along. I'm probably more excited for if I'm a Juve fan, I'm probably more excited about Bremer being there.
I thought you were going to say Pogba.
Yeah, and what he's going to do. But De Ligt, I guess I just wasn't wowed. There were good games. There were not so good games. There was definitely improvement in his last season at Juventus, but just examining the overall body of work, it's hard for me to. If Bayern came along and offered me $73 million, I would have signed off for that in a heartbeat.
Right? Yeah. No, you can't blame Juventus for taking that money either. I mean, anybody be foolish, especially in Serie A, to be giving up that kind of money. So, but I think De Ligt's time at Juventus is a lot better than people are saying, including you. Obviously, the wow factor that we got when he was at Ajax, it's hard to equate to that, right? It's hard to compete with that unless he came up, took the reins at Juventus from, Chiellini and Bonucci and those guys and became maybe a captain. That's the only way it would be a wow factor. You could really take it. But honestly, I think he was decent. He provided attacking threat on set pieces and stuff like that. He was very good in the air. Defensively, he was okay. Yes, he had some terrible mistakes, a lot of red cards, a lot of, double yellows. Like you said, there was some good, there's some bad in there, but I think overall, I thought, Juventus tried to bring him on slowly. They didn't want to bring in somebody, especially at the price they paid, and risk him going to crap right away. They wanted to slowly bring him in. Plus, they already had Chiellini. They had Bonucci in there, some stalwarts that he could learn from. So they took their time with him. So that, the early, obviously you're going to get a little bit of rust, not playing as much, and talking about De Ligt here, but, as more time he got, I thought he did improve, as you mentioned. And I think, overall, I think it was fine. I think he was, through his time there, I thought he was the best defender on the pitch. I know probably Juventini don't agree with me, but that's how I felt when I watched him. And granted, I don't watch, day in and day out. I watch the practice and all that, but the potential he has is always there, and you're waiting to see, is he going to get it? His comments that he said when he arrived at Bayern were a little odd to me, because he talked about playing offensively and he's a defender, but that notwithstanding, I think his time overall at Juventus was a success. Is it $80 million worth successful? Probably not. But I think, it was a good time. Was it a flop? Absolutely not. Anyone says he's a flop, I think they need to, reevaluate how his time was there. But yeah, I think it was good. And you are going to miss a defender like him. Now, they got Bremer on the backside. That's a good person to make up with, probably an upgrade, assuming he continue his fine form. But I think De Ligt's going to be missed, and I think he was a quality defender, and I think he still will do some magical things on the world stage, but to be determined. And I think Juventini ultimately at the end of his career will be like, okay, we're glad we had him, as opposed to, why do we spend that money?
Sure. Yeah, it's up for debate what De Ligt really meant to Juventus, in his time there. So it'd be interesting to hear what people have to say about that. So.